you can't really call this rain, but there are a few sprinkles. And there's a squall, as you can see, and probably also here by the wind noise. This has been going on for a few days, but we never got anything. This time it's a bit closer. So look at the sky. And you can also hear the generator running. We are a little bit short on power. And the irrigation is not completely done yet. But a good duck. There's some rumble coming out of this. I also saw lightning. But this will not provide rain. It rained elsewhere. You can see it over there a little bit. But this cloud is basically done. But yeah, we had some very high temperatures, 42 degrees Celsius. And of course this makes for this kind of development. Now I'm getting a few more drips, but it's a few droplets here and there. It's not really rain. But the temperature goes down and there will be humidity. And all the leaf surface should then also help to get the surface moist a little bit in the morning. Which is why leafy plants are so important here in this area. And they are missing. But not for long. So I hope. So I have to admit that so far it was not possible to get some straw for this. But then I can also tell a few things why that isn't that important. So there is no odor, so it does not smell bad here, despite the fact that they shit here. We maintain this wallow and they have plenty to do in restructuring it. The sleeping area is extremely clean, so there's only dust and there's no poop, nothing. So this works out very, very well. And this area is also clean because they also don't shit right here. They do this over there. And then there are many, many birds and they take care of everything that might develop there. And then it is very, very hot. And there's a lot of UV rays. So deep bedding, compost, would not work anyway. So elsewhere, where you keep pigs in a barn, in deep bedding, then of course you get compost because the bacteria can work. Here, the UV rays from the sun, they would kill the bacteria. So if I had this full of straw, it would be nice, of course. But then I will not get compost out of it. Until we are in winter, when it rains and there is a lot less sunshine. So therefore, this, as it is not wrong, given that there is enough water and that the wallow exists. Because these guys, they cannot sweat, so they need their wallow to cool down. And they maintain this very well. So there's absolutely no problem with the current setup. Of course, this should not be full with 50 pigs, nor 20. But with those 7, that's perfectly fine. And even if we add 3 more, because we have the rest of the feeder here, it would also work, but then that's the limit. And by November, we will then open the fence over there, the gate, and then let them roam, so that they can eat the acorns from all the many oak trees that we have. So this is not bad. Of course, I talked about straw, but it was not possible yet. The reason why is complicated, what you can guess. So I also need to figure out that the entrance to our place is better suited for deliveries. And then things become easier. But yeah, so a wallow is the key element here. And they do this very well. So we are trying to do a little experiment here. You see the hen there? It's always the same one, but they seem to share. So there are a number of eggs below. So she's Broody. And there is a fresh egg. And I will only collect the fresh egg. And maybe, now that we have 2 roosters, maybe we get little chicken. We will see. We've got some rain. And I can also show you this. So here we have the first watermelon emerging. It's a very positive thing. And maybe we can find another one. But so far, I only see this one. There are flowers in many branches that come out of this. But this is the very first one. It looks a bit strange, but that's probably how they start. This looks a bit weird. But then the other one looks normal. So I don't know what the issue with this one is. But you see, there are watermelon leaves. So I guess now it has started that we will see some fruit. And you see how the sky looks like. So this time we got lucky. Yesterday we had a similar effect, but nothing came down. But this time it did. So I'm very happy and grateful for a little bit of actual rain. And the irrigation was still running and I turned it off. Saves a little bit on electricity, which is always important at this time of the day. The pioneer species here have changed. These things have made flowers now. So I stopped cutting this, busy with other things, and now it's interesting to see what they made. So they made flowers. The Paulownia trees are tall enough, most. There's one that is lagging severely behind, but all the others, they are going strong. And I also believe that not every tree will succeed. Yeah, so that's the genetics, I think. I saw a few that have extremely big leaves. They are there in the vegetable garden. And there are also some that simply won't grow. No, like this one there. And I don't think it's lack of water because it gets the same amount as the others. So there's something in their genetics. Some are better than others. But then they're all clones. And I read a little bit, so depending how they do it, apparently when they do this in a lab, they take tissue from one tree and then grow another out of that. And tissue means from the leaves, apparently. I don't know exactly how that works, but that's why you don't see a root that is already there in the pot when they deliver. And the other thing is that you take cuttings, and from these cuttings, root cuttings, you make a new tree. So Apparently some people have mother trees and they cultivate them for the purpose of obtaining root cuttings. Interesting things, but of course for root cuttings you need to have soil where you can easily dig into and get to the roots. In our case that would be very impractical. So for the time being I keep buying these trees because then I have something that I can plant out. And I might need a little bit over 100 trees to fill this area there in the back. You might be able to spot a wall, that's where it ends. Oh, that adds up quickly. But the trees are not the cost factor. There are, of course, the time if I have to hire someone, plus the irrigation equipment, the material for that. That is what costs the money, not the trees. Because if the trees for this cost, let's say, 300 euro, yeah, of course, it's 300 euro, but in the overall scheme, it's nothing. So if I put this in the perspective and mention the price for 3 additional batteries so that I can irrigate at night when there is less evaporation, yeah, that's 5,000 euros. So that's a number, not the other one. So it is a little bit more complicated than things look on, look on the surface. But I'm not complaining. It is just to give you some ideas, and step by step this works. As it rained last night, you can now see the result of that. This is all wet still. The sun is not yet very strong. It is almost 10 o'clock already, but this is still very moist on the surface. This will dry out very quickly over the next 2 hours. But what I wanted to show you is you can see the condensation. And condensation is key in this area. So we need to have a lot of leaf surface so that condensation can work. And that is what used to happen in the Mediterranean forest. If you don't have the leaves, you don't get the water back.